40 miles west of Chicago. Welcome, everyone. It's good to see you.
Yes, welcome. We've got beautiful, beautiful sunny weather here in Saskatoon. We were actually joking with our at our sales stand-up this morning that we actually have nicer weather than our colleagues in Boca Raton, Florida. So that's saying something. So we're super excited that it's sunny and we're getting that vitamin D, and it's a lovely day. I hope it's lovely wherever you're watching in from, and if it's not, I hope your day itself turns out well and you learn something. Well, welcome. My name's Rashida. You all know Nathan most likely, but we're here today to take you through building out a custom AI employee. Nathan's done some sessions even late last year, but earlier in the year to date, building out some of the other AI employees that we have available to customize. Oh, goodness me. Something is happening on the back end. Give me one moment, please. It knew it was my first time, so it was going to give me some obstacles to overcome. There we go, we're stable. So support that scales, how to build out with a recipe, which we'll have available for everyone to leverage if you so choose. Even if you'd like to follow along, you're welcome to. So building out that AI employee and what specifically the use case for it is, and then how to customize it and build that prompt.
If you do want to follow along, here is the link. Just grab that right click. Don't close the webinar, but you can follow along on a second screen if you got one. I'll throw this up at the end as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Nathan. Yeah, when there, you're going to see a list of AI employees. You're going to want to pick that AI support agent if you're wanting to follow along today. Awesome. Just some housekeeping before we get started. Yes, the session is recorded. You'll be able to watch it as a replay through this specific link that you're joining from today. It'll also be uploaded to our Vendasta YouTube channel that gets it Getting Started with Vendasta Training Tuesdays playlist by the end of the day tomorrow. So if you have any inkling to watch the recording, if you have to duck out, or if you want to share with a friend, that's where you'll find them. Any questions? Please pop them into the Q&A. It's on the right-hand panel of your SQL instance right now, so you'll see chat, and then you'll also see a little Q&A bubble in there. Click on there, ask your question. We'll get to them at the end. We should have some time to get through a few questions. Use the chat too if you have feedback, if you have general inquiries. We can't guarantee we will get to everything if it's not put in the Q&A, so Q&A is the best bet to get those answered and addressed on the session live. But if for whatever reason we miss something or we just don't have the time to get to it, we will follow up with you after. And then read the replay. We kind of went over that with the piece about the recording. You can watch it through this link, and then it'll also be in our YouTube library. Awesome. So I hope that many of you are familiar with custom AI employees, but if you're not, that's completely fine as well. Welcome. We're happy to have you. Nathan's going to pop up a poll for everyone. We just kind of want to get a sense of whether everyone here has had the opportunity to build out a custom employee. Yes, no. Give us your thoughts. If you have any feedback with respect to some cool custom employees you've built out, we'd love to hear about them in the chat. Okay, 100%. We are starting strong. Awesome. Okay, 50-50 split. There is no shame in not having started. I think being here and being willing to learn is an excellent first step. So we're happy to have you join us. Cool. So a fairly even split. Okay. Well, hopefully after today, there's going to be some initiative or some desire or some understanding on how to even start leveraging the custom AI employees that get unlocked with some of our AI products. So today we're looking at the AI support agent. Again, the intention of this agent is to deliver empathetic support using the HERD framework. So again, if you have in a situation where you maybe don't necessarily need that distinct explicit lead capture, but you're like, hey, we're good with our leads. We have a business or we have a client's business that really just wants to have an online AI supported instant at any point at a given time during day or night support system for website visitors or customers or prospective customers to ask anything about the business before they either make direct contact or book a meeting or come in for a service. This is what that agent is going to help us with. So again, provides that 24/7 resolution, can be connected to SMS and chat, uses that HERD reasoning, so to hear, empathize, apologize, resolve, and diagnose. Again, the framework itself is hidden in the prompting and in the bones of the agent. It's more just how it communicates and how it engages with visitors and chatters. And then again, if solution solving fails with the agent directly, it will then default to a lead capture motion where it will then get the best contact phone number or email for the person so that a member of the team can reach out to them directly. Awesome. So to get us started, if you have that little recipe, it looks like this. If you're at all interested in what it looks like, it's part of our documentation. So you've got it in here. This is what we're going to be following. It's kind of like a cooking show today, not nearly as exciting as Chopped or Iron Chef by any means, but we're essentially kind of baking that AI support agent cake, and we're following the recipe that our team's laid out for us here. You're going to see some of those other options on the left-hand side. Vendasta as a company has built out their own AI HR employee. I'm not sure if you've necessarily heard about it in some of our other webinars, but yeah, she's been great. Pepper is her name. I'm assuming she's a she. I think she's a she. We're going to go with that. But no, she's been great if we have any questions about vacation, time off, packages, policies, things like that. So do take a look at these when you have some time. You can go through them. So what we're going to look at today is this AI support agent. One thing that is required, if is a necessity, you will need a Conversations AI active. Now, for partners who are on our professional or higher subscriptions, those subscriptions in Partner Center do allow you the ability to create custom agents in your Partner Center specifically. So say, for example, I'm in our demo pit here. I go over to our AI workforce, click into here. Because we're on a subscription that supports custom AI agent creation, you're going to see that little create button. If you're a partner who's just starting with us or on their free tier or on the starter tier, you're not going to see that create. But don't worry, you can still absolutely follow along with us. If you're in Partner Center and choose to build this agent in Partner Center, completely your prerogative. I'm going to build a business app just so we can kind of like test a little bit more of that workflow. But the setup and the configuration following that recipe is fairly similar. So through Partner Center, I'm going to find my account. I decided to go with a local restaurant in Saskatoon that I adore. It's called Hearth Restaurant. Any of you who are ever going to find yourself in Saskatoon or planning some summer or fall travels, I highly recommend it. They're fabulous. So again, I have my Conversations AI active here. So I'm going to pop open into my business app to start configuring. Perfect. We've got ourselves loaded up, and because that Conversations AI Pro is active, when I come over to that AI workforce, I'm going to see that blue button that I expect to see. So these are some of the other AI agents that either we have currently available or are coming soon. The voice receptionist unlocks with that Conversations AI Premium. I don't specifically have that active, so I would need to upgrade for that, but that's not really what we're focusing on today. So we already see our chat receptionist. Harley's been configured a little bit here, so that's great. But I'm going to want to click that Create button to help me get started on setting up a new AI employee. So I'm going to name them, we're going to name them Charlie. We're going to say it's a support agent. You can, name it whatever you so choose. You might have a mascot. You might have some cute naming convention. You might want to do some other naming than support agent, but that's what we're going to go with for today. You can also customize your image. We have a library here, but if you have your own image that you want to use, you can just upload it from your computer. I do have one that I want to upload, provided this works a lot. Gemini helped me.
While that's loading there, Rashida, would you mind, when you have a second, just hitting Control plus 1 or 2 times, just make that screen a little bigger for our audience.
Absolutely. Good call out, Nathan. Thank you.
Beautiful. That's
much better. Is that a little bit more visible for you? Yeah,
appreciate
it. Guys. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Awesome. So we've got Charlie set up here. He's our little chanterelle mushroom with his headset. He's ready to support and answer questions. So I'm going to save that just before we get going. I don't know about you. Sometimes if I just start moseying along, I forget to save, and then it undoes the work I did, and that's incredibly frustrating. So when in doubt, click the save button. Awesome. So we're going to come down to this role section first. So you're going to see there's a generic, little bit of a prompt here, which is great. It can work outside of the box, but we want to enhance that a little bit. So we're going to go over to that recipe here. And as you'll see if you're in there following along, there is a purpose prompt, which we've renamed as role. So if you see purpose in any of our resource documentation, that means the role. We've just changed the name, and just the resource document hasn't quite been updated, but they are the one and the same, so do not fret. So we're going to clean that out. We're going to pop that in there. So again, we can see here it's an empathetic support agent. So again, that empathy is coming from that HERD framework. That is a capability we're going to build out in a little bit. But again, the ultimate goal here is to resolve customer issues while making sure that they feel heard and valued. So again, your first line of support. And then it's just going to detail a little bit about how we want that AI agent to engage. Great. So we're going to click Save. Awesome. So we've got that set up now. So the next section is we're going to come down. We're going to leave the generative AI as the recommended model. By all means, please test out whatever different models. You can use that My Listings page, which I'll show you in a moment once we get this configured for our actual testing on this session. But if you are so inclined, you're welcome to try some other ones, but our team does vet them and does provide a recommended one. So for this use case, we're going to leave it there. Now for capabilities, there is a capability that we do need to build out. Lucky for us, the recipe has everything we need. So we're going to go and click Add Capability. We're going to add new capability down here, and this is where we're going to build it out. So we're going to name it that HERD support framework. We're going to give it a little description of what specifically this capability is going to help us accomplish. Perfect. So again, apply the framework, direct resolution for the customer. And then in that prompt field, we're going to again take that prompt that's already been generated for us and pop it in. So again, just showing the framework again here, empathize, resolve, diagnose, all of those things. Like I said earlier, this is not something that someone on the other end of the website or the chat functionality is going to necessarily be prompted with. It's not going to be like, oh, tick, we did this, tick, we did that. It's just how the AI agent is going to interact with those people that he's chatting with. Great, so we're going to click Done. Now that is all set up. You can add additional capabilities as well. The 2 additional capabilities we recommend for this AI support agent is that capture leads. I'm going to click that here. The capture leads, while we do have our conversations or chat receptionist available for that lead capture framework and functionality, this support agent, the capture leads capability that we add here is going to give them the functionality and the understanding to that if for whatever reason they cannot solve the customer's problem or things need to be escalated or they just need to escalate the customer's feedback or have someone from the team reach out to that customer, it gives them the ability and the capabilities to then ask for that contact information, much like we do with the conversations receptionist. So if I click into that again, I'm going to come down here, collects contact information, everything looking good. And these are the fields that we're going to want to capture. Say, for example, your business doesn't want email, you only want phone and first and last name. You can remove that. You can, again, add additional custom fields that are necessary for your business. But for this use case, we're going to leave first, last name, phone, and email. Cool, cool, cool. Great. So now, again, we've added the capture leads. We can also add the capability to book meetings. In this specific restaurant use case, that's not something that they would typically do, but for the sake of the demonstration, we're going to find the book appointments, and we're going to add that as well. You will need to have the book appointments capability to work as you want it to. You are going to have your calendar, your Book Me Now, and your meetings set up. You can do that over here. I can show you in a second where to find that. Once that's set up, like it has been here, we're then going to set the event, the booking link that we want to have this AI have access to then be able to share that so that those visitors and chatters can book in. So like, let's pick the 30-minute one here. We're going to save it. If you do need to set up your Book Me Now, you can find it in the CRM My Meetings. You can click into here. It'll take you through the steps. You can manage your booking links. You can also select your meeting settings and configure them. Because mine is already set up, we don't see those steps. But on the other side too, you want to make sure that like your Google Meets and your Gmail credentials and everything is connected so that the meeting booking software can validate your availability and provide options based off of that. Awesome. So now I think going back to the, sorry, one second here. We're going to go back to Charlie. We're going to configure him again. Awesome. So we've got his role modified. We've got the HERD framework in place. We've got the capture leads. We've got our book appointments. I'm going to come back to that capture leads because, like I said, this was just the pre-populated kind of canned option for captures leads, which is great. But because we are tying this into our support agent, I want to add a little bit more logic, just a little bit more guidance for the agent at the very bottom under how they're supposed to behave or how I'd like them to behave. So when I want them to be able to, if they can't find an answer in the knowledge base, we want them to, again, transition to that lead capture framework to say, hey, I can't find this, but let me see. I'll get a human to look into it for you. Can I please get your contact information? Same sort of concept. What they want, we want them to just maintain that empathetic tone across the board. Again, getting the name, providing support wherever they can, and making sure that if they can't solve that problem, it gets escalated to the right teams or right people to do so. Awesome. Next step is arguably one of the most important. It's that knowledge source. So think of the knowledge source as like everything that your AI agent knows, has access to, can refer to, can use to provide, whether that's details, information, anything about the services your business offers. You can also add custom like FAQs, policies, things of that nature, so that the AI agent has all of that in place. Again, should anyone ask. The AI agent's knowledge source is kind of like their client onboarding while paired with their configuration and their capabilities. You would spend time onboarding and training a new human employee. You should probably take an element of that into your approach with respect to the AI employees, right? So the AI employee, especially the support bot, in this case, is really as good as the knowledge we give it. So cool, we've already got the business profile, which has been populated. We've got the business website, but I'm going to add some FAQs as well, just so that it's just some stuff that exists outside of the website, but that's important for that support agent to have as a reference point. And we're going to click Save. So there's two different ways you can test this agent now that we've got them set up. This chat functionality in here is really helpful when you're testing out and refining how the agent engages, because this is going to show you, not only is going to give you the answers to those questions, but it's also going to show you the thought process and the logic that the AI agent goes through to generate those answers. So if I click into chat, I'm going to start a conversation with Charlie. I'm going to say, where are you located? Something very, very simple. We're going to ramp up from there. So we're expecting that this agent is going to have the full answer. So again, it shows that it's thinking. Now it's going to show you its thought process. Now on the live version of this, you're not going to necessarily see that full thinking breakdown. Your client doesn't need to see that. But for you as the owner, as a salesperson, as the person managing this agent, it's really important, because like if you look at the thinking and you're like, hey, this is actually incorrect, this is where it found its information, then you know you need to kind of go back to the drawing board or make some tweaks with respect to how it's been set up. So again, we know that the hearth is located inside the Rebbe Modern. It's an art gallery here in Saskatoon. Again, is there anything you'd like to know? I'm here to help. So again, very helpful off the jump. We're going to say, are you kid friendly? And then we're going to get that thought process again. It does show us the source of where it found its information. Cool. The dedicated kids menu, great. Can I provide you anything? Awesome. So, but what if let me see something here. What else would we like to ask it? Do you do catering? Sorry. Let's see if it can recognize my typos. Now, this is information that's not necessarily on their website, but just because I built this, I would know, but it should show us as well that this is information that's built and secured from those FAQs. So again, if you have your website such it is, but you want, additional information that you haven't had time to update your website with, or you have specials that are running at a given time, if we're keeping in the restaurant theme, that those FAQs would be a really good place to kind of update that information without changing your entire website. Though again, depending on your business, that might help. Now, again, if I ask in this chat here to speak to a manager, it's not going to actually follow that full lead capture process end to end. It's going to ask me for my name and phone number. I'll show you that. But because this is sort of that internal chat, internal testing ecosystem, it doesn't necessarily have to just be for testing. If you want to create a support agent, custom AI employee that lives exclusively in your business app or your partner center, whether that be for the SMB's own employees, if they want to find policies, they want to find processes, they want to find resources that they can then employ and use in their day-to-day responsibilities and job, you can absolutely do that, and they can leverage this. If you do want this to be a customer facing on a website, then we would need to integrate it with that web chat functionality, where it would then, if it captured that lead, carry that information through and that chat summary into the CRM, which we'll show in a second. So here we go. It's going to ask for my phone number. Great. I'm going to give it my name anyways. Cool. Awesome. Charlie's earning his keep today. So he'll have a manager reach out. Great. And like the way we frame this as well is to consistently like say, hey, can I help you with anything else? Can I help with you with anything else, as opposed to just leaving it like, oh, I've answered your question. That's it. Goodbye. The intention of the support agent is to be helpful. So that's why it's asking just for those clarifications in here. Awesome. If I go back to that AI workforce agent, let's go back to Charlie really quick and let's see what it looks like if I'm actually a customer working with it. So I'm going to go back to that configuration. And I'm going to go up to this top part. One unique thing that you're going to see with this is you're going to see this message of this trigger is currently assigned to another employee. This trigger is assigned to another employee. What this means is that in an ideal world, if you're wanting to just have an AI support agent on your website, you could take over the functionality of that online AI chat for code for your website and have it devoted to the support agent. Or if you wanted to have a chat receptionist that still captures leads, as well as having a support agent available on your website or a landing page, you could effectively merge the conversations AI chat receptionist with the support agent we're going through today. We did create a little bit of a prompt that I'll share out with the group after this in a follow-up email if you did want to merge the two. But for the sake of this presentation, we're going to kind of keep them separated. But I do think in a lot of use cases, if you wanting to have that capture functionality and just really have that chatbot be generally helpful, regardless of what is being asked for and what anyone's visiting the website to inquire about, I do think an amalgamation or a hybridization of the two would make the most sense. Now, in the restaurant use case, the lead capture might not be the most important priority for the restaurant. The restaurant wants to drive those visitors to their open table connection to actually book, or they want to have them call in specifically or fill out a request form if they're looking to do like a private event. So I think it really just ultimately comes down to the use case and then what the business or yourselves are trying to accomplish. Now, for the sake of testing, I'm going to click this here. You're going to see that little icon just because, again, we are reassigning that trigger, but I'm going to click save. Cool. So then if I come over to that My Listings page, which we can access from that local SEO section in our business app, we're going to go over to My Listing page, and we're going to see Charlie popped up on the side here. Let me just refresh it. Awesome. And if I zoom in a little bit, you're going to see that we've got that support agent in there now. It's no longer our chef receptionist. We've got our, he's got his headset on and he means business. So now I'm going to ask him some questions just as I would, because I'm now interacting with that support agent. So I would ask him, say, how do I talk to a manager? As you see here, we see that he's thinking, we just don't see that thought process like we did with that internal. But again, both of these, before you choose to put it live, or if you're trying to work out some tweaks, are great options to kind of say, hey, did this prompt edit I make, did this new capability or this new tool I set up actually make the desired changes and configure the AI employee how I want it to? These would be great places to test that out. So again, while I'm here to help with any concerns, if you'd like, I can pass along. May I start with you getting your name? So we'll get my name again. We'll do 3. Perfect. It's going to take me through that traditional lead capture flow that if you've joined any of our other webinars in the recent past, you're going to be fairly familiar with this. So again, asking for our phone number so they can contact me. Great. Cool. Perfect. Is there anything else you'd like the manager to discuss? I want to book a private event. And then like with anything, when that lead is captured through the web chat, whether it's configured as a support agent or it's configured as your receptionist, if it's able to collect that lead information, even if it's not, it's going to create a contact in the CRM with a summary of the conversation for yourself, a sales team member, your employer, your SMB, and their team can take a look at to say, hey, there was an escalation, or there was this chat, there was this inquiry, this is what they wanted to know about this, so that they're prepared to then, when they have that outreach to the customer or to that prospect. Great. Anything additional details I can help you with? No, I think we're good. Yeah, Charlie looks like he's working as intended. If you do have any questions about this specific agent, please pop them in the Q&A. Yeah, I think that was all we wanted to go through today. Like I said, just remember the FAQs, the knowledge source, website, business profile is all really important, because that's where our support agent pulls from. So again, the role is important, the capabilities are important, but again, I would say that the knowledge source is something that you really do want to validate. Take the time, encourage your customers to take that extra time, create a document. Again, depending on how soon things update, maybe that's something that's not feasible, but I do really think it's worth the extra little bit of time. The little bit of time it does take to curate and hone in and refine your knowledge sources in the AI agent are still going to be less time consuming and less financially consuming than having a human manage all of this on their own. So yeah, I hope this is helpful. Do we have any questions that have come in?
Yes, we certainly do. So I will bring them up to the forefront. The first one we had did get partially answered in the chat by some of our fantastic Vendastians waiting in the wings. However, Josh had a question, and I believe Kayla also had a question about Markdown format. What are these hashtags all about? And essentially, Markdown format is a way of organizing your information to give the AI the tools it needs to prioritize what that knowledge is and how important one instruction is over another. The way we have it in your purpose, 2 hashtags, that creates a heading. And then that's going to be a new instruction. And if you have a sub point or a for example or a something that you want nested underneath that instruction, 3 hashtags will associate it with that previous hashtag. It'll create a subheading under your heading there. Now, if you want to learn more about prompt engineering, the basics, we did do a fantastic, if I do say so myself, a fantastic presentation on Prompt Engineering 101. I'm popping this up on the screen here. You can look at it on our YouTube channel. Again, just right click, open in a new tab. You can watch it on later. But it goes through, I go through, I suppose, the basics of what Markdown is, why it's important, how to build out your prompts effectively. So definitely give that one a watch. All right, now we have another question from Kayla. Can we have an employee who can build out campaigns for us? And this is a very good question. AI is doing more and more all the time in the Vendasta ecosystem. Current state, we don't have one that can go into Campaigns Pro and build out an email campaign for you. However, if you want to play around with a custom agent as sort of a content creator to draft those sort of emails, that's definitely something you could build out. If you're looking for where to start with that, I would recommend letting AI teach the AI. Go to ChatGPT or Gemini or your model of choice. Tell them what you're trying to accomplish, and it'll likely help you build a pretty good prompt in Markdown so that you can give your agent that instructions. Now, coming very soon, we also have Social AI Premium launching at the end of June. That's going to include the Social Media Manager, and that AI will be able to create and publish social campaigns on your behalf. We're also releasing the Blogger at the same time for that long form content. So keep an eye out for that end of June. But current state, there's nothing built out of the box. That said, use a custom employee, give it a try. We're all kind of learning at the same pace here as new things get released. Everybody has the ability to be an AI expert. All right, and our last question here from Ron. Can a business have more than one AI agent? And if so, what's the process to implement? So we kind of touched on this a little bit building this, and Rashida, feel free to jump in here anytime. But essentially, where we're at right now, the respond to web chat trigger can currently only be assigned to one employee at a time. Future state, hopefully we'll be able to expand that so you can have more than one bot on a website at a time. But if you're wanting to do both, your AI support and your lead capture, as Rashida said, try building that prompt from the page into a capability for that chat receptionist you've already got on there. And then in the role, in the purpose, you can add a line about which one you want to prioritize. Prioritize the support side of your job over the lead capture or vice versa. Anything else you want to add there, Rashida?
Yeah, no, thank you for that, Nathan. I think that's a great question. It's like Nathan said, currently the on-site chat functionality does need to be managed through one employee or the other. But to Nathan's point, and as we touched on earlier, there is the ability to sort of hybridize the support agent or even potentially another agent, whether that's through the role or that's through building out additional capabilities and tools that those agents have access to. So again, you'll see here, this is what we put together with respect to, okay, well, we want to have our chat reception still available to capture that initial inquiry, capture that lead, have that functionality, but we also still want to have them have, that empathetic, resolution-focused approach that we have built out for the support agent. So this prompt here represents sort of a merging of the two. So we're still maintaining that empathetic approach, that resolution customer first communication style, but then also triggering that lead capture to make sure that regardless of why the visitor is chatting in, we're still getting that contact information. Now, I think for a restaurant use case, I think one or the other is probably sufficient, probably err on the side of the support agent. But if you have, say, for example, you work for a mechanical shop or you're a plumber or things of that nature, that hybrid agent might be more useful so long as you have the right knowledge sources and capabilities and connections in place, so that it can manage new business inquiries and direct them to the proper channels for more information and for booking in, but it can also support existing or return customers if they need to modify events or follow up on services or invoices or things of that nature. So to Nathan's point, it's entirely your prerogative. What you can do, however, is you can have as many, I should say as many for now, because there's no current hard limit. Now, when credits come into play, that might be a slightly different story. But with that create option, you can theoretically create 3, 4, 6, 7 separate custom AI employees, whether that be just for the business to use or whether that be for your team to use. If you choose to have it in your partner center, it could be your sales team having access to specific policies, processes, enablement resources, things of that nature. And then if you have it for an SMB, it could be for their own internal team. But anything customer facing is currently tied to at least chat functionality is tied to one of the agents or the other.
Great. We got one more question in here from Mike. Do I build my custom AI agents in the partner center or in my own business app in my own business in the business app? And this is a very good question. It depends on your current Vendasta subscription. If you are on a starter plan, you're going to want to activate one of our AI products, either Conversations AI or Reputation AI or Social Marketing, to enable that that custom agent, because you don't have access to them automatically in Partner Center. If you're on professional tier or higher, you have access to the custom agent built right into Partner Center. And for your business, I'd recommend sticking with Partner Center if at all possible. It just keeps everything kind of in one spot for your team as much as possible. Great question.
Yeah, thanks, Nathan. And sort of just to follow on that, it depends on how your business is situated. But business app, the Conversations AI and products that are built in business app bring any of the lead data into the CRM within the business app. Now, if you're a Vendasta partner and you're on a subscription that affords you the opportunity to create those custom employees, I would highly recommend building it there, because it brings then that any lead or any customer interaction captured by the AI into your Partner Center CRM, which is typically, depending, we have some exceptions, but that is typically where our partners operate out of. But one thing too, what that'll look like is if you have those interactions logged, again, the business app example, and you can see that I've been doing some testing. Let me zoom in a little bit more for everyone. Maybe one out. Great, so this was our recent communication here. So we see that it came in on May 26th. My name, phone number that I provided. If I click into here, it's going to then show a little bit of that transcript, so that, again, we're not just having to hunt through any of those conversations. We can come into that specific context, see what I reached out about, see whatever was the topic of the conversation, what my inquiry was, and what potentially any next action items might be. So it's just a matter of, do you want this in your partner center? Do you want this in your business app CRM? Now, partners on Starter might not have the ability to create custom employees, but you do still have that chat receptionist available in your partner center included. And if you did choose to take some inspiration from the AI support agent and bring that into the functionality of that chat receptionist, you could probably do the two birds, one stone method using that. You just wouldn't necessarily have the functionality to create singular, unique custom employees without either upgrading or choosing to use to activate them through that business app experience by activating the Conversations AI product on your own account.
Excellent. All right, a quick one here. It's not going into the overlays for some reason, so I'll just answer it here. For the search web capability, can I give the agent my login credentials for particular websites like LinkedIn? Unfortunately, that capability is not part of what that search the web capability is. The other thing I would say, we do have a search web capability. I would use it with caution, because unless you're being very strict with what information it's providing to whoever's talking to it, there's nothing stopping it from doing a search for your competitors and offering that information as well. So if you're going to use that search web capability, make sure you got it on lock as to what it is and is not allowed to talk about. And then the same could be, I could ask the same for my booking. Sorry, Mike Wiseman asking, do I build my custom agents for my booking calendar? Same answer, Mike. You only have the one booking calendar per user, of course, and the AI can only learn one of them at a time. So great questions all around. I think that's it, and I think we got some plugs. Rashida, I'll kick it to you there. Thanks everyone for your questions.
Yes, thank you, Nathan, so much. And thank you to all of our friends in the chat for chiming in and adding extra value. That's really appreciated. Thank you so much. So coming up next, we have a webinar this Thursday. It's a third or fourth? It's the fourth. It's the fourth session in our sales and strategy series. If you've been watching any of those, they're tremendously valuable, talking about selling AI and partnering with Vendasta with that, that sales-focused lens, which I think is a really nice balance and complement to the training and sort of more product focused sessions we do here on Tuesdays. So on Thursday, we have one of our account managers, Kent Falk, and one of his partners, Mr. Scott Regan, is going to join us to talk about Scott's experience growing his business, leveraging AI employees, and how that's helped minimize the need to add additional human headcount, but allow him to grow his business. So tune in for that. Thank you, Nathan. He's got the sales and strategy webinar registration link there. The sales and strategy is also available for replay watch in our Vendasta Help YouTube channel. Same channel as any recordings for these Training Tuesday sessions. It's just on the sales and strategy playlist. And then again, if you haven't heard about this already, you're hearing about it now. You've probably, hopefully, got some communication already, but Vendasta Connect, it's one of our largest events of the year. So this year it's on June 3rd. We are introducing Vendasta Vibe. I know some of the people in attendance are already familiar with Vibe, but for those that you aren't, it's an app builder that Vendasta is launching and super tremendously excited about. It's just very, very cool what we're looking to be able to do with, starting into the fray of that liquid software experience, where we're not necessarily pigeonholed or beholden to, what was built is what we have access to. Vibe will take that business data and allow you to build dashboards, websites, things of that nature with respect to your own data or the client data available. So super excited about that. We're going to have some partner panels, some roundtables, some fireside chats. So please tune in on June 3rd. Awesome. And that is everything we had for you today. Like I said, I appreciate you all coming in and spending some time with us throughout your busy day. We will see you next Tuesday here. Lily is going to take us through Partner Center setup and configuration. And then hopefully we'll see you on Thursday and then on June 3rd as well.
Take care, everyone.
Take care, everyone. Bye. Thank you.